Previously in X-Men. The team has gathered in Dallas to find their leader, Storm, and are ambushed by the defenses within Forge's high-tech tower. Wolverine is brutally injured, and Freedom Force arrives in the scene to raise the stakes, while the precognitive powers of Destiny warn of impending doom for the X-Men. The long-absent Colossus finally makes his return. Storm has been on a journey to find Forge, the Maker, to restore her powers, all the while being manipulated by someone in the guise of Naze. As Storm finally locates Forge and climbs a mystical peak, she stabs him to stop him from destroying the world, only to learn that he was using his magical abilities to save the world from chaos personified, the Trickster. With the Guardian of Order, known as the goddess Roma, now a captive of the Trickster, a tear in the very fabric of reality has opened in the sky above Dallas. I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanagan.
And we are a group of 7 comics. Welcome to episode 160 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men 226 by Chris Claremont, Marc Silvestri, and Dan Green. Cover date of February 1988. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. That was quite the lengthy intro.
Dude, there is so much backstory to make this one happen, for better or for worse. Whatever, if you like that kind of thing, that's fine. I was thinking about all the pieces that need to come together for someone to step into this episode who's never watched the show before. If that's you out there, by the way, thank you so much for being here. We hope you enjoy. But it is not an easy one to just jump in on, because there is a lot of backstory to each of these pieces, including what I'd love to start with for a minute with you. This thing with the Trickster and Roma, Order and Chaos.
Classic
in mythology and storytelling and folklore. Definitely new to the world of the X-Men in our time reading, which we've been reading since Giant Size number 1, 1975. We're now in 1988. The idea of going behind the curtain, like beyond the veil, into the spirit world, the workings of reality in the universe. This is not something X-Men is usually about. So I'm just going to boil it down to a binary here.
Okay.
Binary, depending on
Binary,
depending on your inflection. Seeing how the universe works, seeing these cosmic forces in X-Men. Yes, no. What?
What? So we chatted a little bit about this, I think, during the Shi'ar piece. I think a few times we kind of some of the cosmic stuff, and we found that we lean, not everyone out there, we lean though towards a bit more of grounded X-Men. And I say grounded, I mean we're talking like Savage Land and things, right? But terrestrial X-Men adventures that may suit their dynamic. Maybe it fits a little easier. I think once we go into the cosmic and now into the interdimensional, what's Wolverine going to do against the god of chaos?
Like chaos personified, right?
Right.
This is a being of nigh infinite powers,
right? So
who is simply there as to be the voice of chaos in the universe. Like,
right,
dude.
So I don't know
going on here.
Right.
So I try to give you a simple binary question.
Binary.
This, and you're like, I'm gonna talk. Come on, man. Yes or no?
Not for my personal taste.
So just say. You can't say it, huh?
I can. No. I can say it. No.
Yeah, it is definitely not the kind of X-Men that I'm looking for, but I don't mind it in storytelling when it meets the world that's been set up, or if you slowly creep there. I think a master storyteller in any medium can bring in the forces of order and chaos.
Right.
I think someone working in mainstream American corporate comics in the 80s, it feels so forced in. Like, it isn't Mignola where there are a couple of otherworldly beings behind a tree in the shadow saying,
Right.
Hellboy's doing. We should be watching this. Let's see if he fulfills the prophecy. This is like
Right.
all of a sudden the order, the goddess of order and the spirit of chaos, like out of nowhere.
And it again, it's not to say it's not a great or decent or an enjoyable storytelling device, and would work and probably does work because we already have the buy-in on certain characters that already exist. Like a Thor, a Doctor Strange. Characters who already exist within those spaces, right?
Sure.
And so, but the X-Men don't tend to be in those spaces. So, I was thinking of like, what could be the comparable? Like, what would it? And I was, I don't know if this just came to mind. I don't know, this may not be accurate, but in that final battle in Avengers Endgame, or MCU here, right?
We talk about this every week.
So, I know we do, but
please, I love it.
Could the street level heroes, the Daredevils, the Luke Cages, the Jessica Jones, could they hold? I don't know. Would they just die? I don't know. Maybe not Luke Cage. I don't know. I'm just saying. I love Daredevil. We both do love DD. But is he going to come up against some Chitauri warriors? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
there's an antagonist. I think you and I are getting at the point that there is a nice. There's a fit. There's a fit of antagonist protagonist, and so I think when that happens, doesn't have to happen all the time, but when it does happen, it can fit the circumstances, and I think maybe there's a bit more investment, certainly from you and I.
So let's then connect this to me, which is an obvious one, which is Phoenix. I don't mean Rachel Summers, but the Dark Phoenix saga. At some point in that,
she killed 6 billion people on that planet. By the way,
way
to go, John Byrne.
The Watcher does show up. Like he's talking about the universe and reality, and like this is an important moment,
right?
And I'm all for like, hey, there's gonna be a battle between God and the devil for all the chips, for everything, and choose your champions. And we're going here and you're going there. Like it's going to come down to something. Right. We're going to see, is humanity worthy? Is humanity not worthy? Like I'm down for that, but you have to set it up.
Sure.
And so that is the thing I'm bumping up against.
Right.
It feels like this chaos character, the trickster, has been set up. He's been there in the shadows. He's been there, but the idea that there is another plane of reality where Roma is,
right,
and to have her just jump into X-Men, I find that a little jarring. And it is definitely something, as a young reader and as an older reader, it takes me out when I'm reading an X-Men comic, and I just want to see the X-Men fight Freedom Force and deal with public backlash.
Of course, and then you mentioned last week that Roma comes from the Captain Britain world.
Yes.
Right? So there's a little bit of Claremont there, bringing some pieces over, probably playing around, seeing how it fits, seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
I had an interesting conversation with our friend David Cutler at Toronto Comic-Con, friend of the show, past guest, X-Men artist, currently working on a number of things at Toronto Comic-Con. We were talking about the show, and, he very nicely says that he often puts it on. He's probably going to show up tonight at like 9:58 or 10:23, and he's going to mention the Mountain Man Music Festival, but
which I've been practicing for, by the way.
He was saying, for him, he has a certain period of X-Men comics that are like his, his favorite. But he did mention like the period that we're in now. it was of his opinion that he's not sure. We talked about this, like, does Claremont have his grand design? Does he not? What's happening? And it was of David's opinion that like these ones are like, things are just coming out of anywhere. Like, and it's kind of, has he hit a natural point? Maybe it's got to, we're at 226, and what is that? how many more issues until the Jim Lee?
I don't want to say.
Like it's a
I don't want to
year and a half away or something, right? So
yeah, I mean,
ish, right? So
yeah.
it just it does feel a little. You're right, because other story arcs. I mean, even as you mentioned in the opening, you said suddenly there's this tear in the fabric of space and time or whatever reality.
Yeah,
whatever it's there. I mean, I was actually going to ask that question. Like, do we all know what that thing is? I mean, I know, but let's say that you were right. Let's just say you're right. And it's like, yeah, it's a terror in reality. I mean, the Crimson Commando surely doesn't know what it is. He looks up, he's like, what the heck?
Right.
He's like, I've seen some things, been around this earth. I ain't ever seen that. So
yeah, it is just bonkers. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's not that it's enjoyable, but it is like we're trying to pull away a little bit. We're trying to get a sense of where these things are heading.
Yeah. In the cartoon, I feel like this could have worked in the original,
right?
5-year run,
right,
of X-Men animated series. Just out of the blue, all of a sudden, it's this weird thing that's going on. They would have shown order and chaos, and kids would have been like, "What is this? This is trippy," and just gone with it. Mm-hmm. And that's totally fine. In the movies, it never would have worked, right? Like there's a set of logic that works in storytelling. And the more expensive, the more serious people take things, the less they're willing to have their understanding shaken or changed. So it would have been off-brand in X-Men movies to try this. But it works in the What If series, clearly.
And it works in a 4-parter or whatever the heck it is, right? As one of these animated. Speaking of the animated series, and speaking of Toronto Comic-Con, I didn't mention this last week, but as I was on my first day, I was there with my kid, walking a setup, and it's before the show starts, and several, not all the creators are there, but a few are there setting up. And I walk by a table, and I do a double take, and there, sitting at the table, is George Buza. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but the voice of Beast from the X-Men, Canadian actor, voice of X-Men from both the original animated series and X-Men '97. And I just had to say, as he's kind of getting set up, he's new to these. He's like, oh, haven't done many of these. And I had to say to him, you're the voice of Beast in my head.
Oh, dude,
you're the voice. You're the voice. And I just wanted to say, and then he and I got started talking about his career and things. And if you're unaware, people in the chat, there's a very famous Shakespearean theater festival in a town called Stratford, Ontario, which is quite world renowned. And George is talking about his time there in the 80s, and I was asking which plays he was in and all these things. And as he's talking about it, he's mentioning how the whole cast, like most of that cast has roots in the in this Shakespearean festival in Stratford, Ontario. Whether it's the guy who voices Professor Xavier, Alec Cyril, anyway, Jean Grey certainly performs Storm. You told that great anecdote about. I think it's in the X-Men '97. Is it the X-Men '97? The making of the docs, where she's like, "Tell me about this. Tell me about this character. And they're like, she's an African queen. And she's like, well, I've done Lady Macbeth. I can do this. But it was funny. And so it's kind of just starting a little bit off topic, but talking to him was great because he was saying how, this is 40 years later, whatever it is, and people are coming up to him and he's signing pictures of Beast, and none of them thought, right? I mean, to have X-Men '97 come back and then all the X-Men stuff post their animated series, I'm sure they probably kept track. But he was saying how his daughter's like, Dad, you have this whole room full of memorabilia, and he's like, is it just junk? She's like, no, it's not junk. You need to do something with this. So anyway, I'll just say that was a very cool moment at Comic-Con.
I do feel a strange sense of pride, of misattributed pride, in the fact that voice cast is this kind of Southern Ontario group of actors.
Yeah.
The production, the audio production came out of Toronto's recording studios.
Yeah.
And so all those guys are from, the area. And I love it now that they're all at these conventions, which segues beautifully into toying around ToyCon which we will be at May 3rd before the Mountain Music Festival. May 3rd, and I'm really excited to do this one. It is, I'm a toy collector, as you know, and not shy about that. I still have so many things to open that are sitting here, like my Secret Wars Captain America, but I don't know what to do, if I should open them because I have another. Anyway,
right.
Toying around ToyCon, George Buza has just committed to attending this one as well. So
last year
we got to meet Wolverine.
Cal Dodd. Wolverine.
And this year, I'm not sure if Cal's coming back.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but George Buza is just committed today to being there. So we'll have a group of 7 table.
Yes.
Where we'll have our books and stuff and do some signing and drawing, whatever. But we'll also have a toy table.
Yes.
Where we can sell and trade some of our collections. I mean, I have so much I'm ready to part with, to share with somebody new. But yeah, Kevin Toying Around, good friend, and looking very much forward to seeing this event continue to thrive each year. So I'm jazzed about that.
Absolutely.
Should be fun. May 3rd. It's a Saturday in beautiful Thornhill, Ontario. This is, again, I told you before, that's my home hockey rink from when I was a kid. Like, I grew up right there. So
I played hockey in that community center.
Jeff O'Neill, the O-Dog himself, who is, on the panel in tonight's game, Toronto-Philadelphia. Not saying anything about that, Ali. He's broadcasting. He was a Thornhill Thunderbird. So he played out of that rink. Anyway, speaking of which, hello to Ali. Hello. Happy Tuesday, all you awesome nerds. Hope you're doing well, Ali. Michael says, hello, everyone. Jason Jose says, hey, X-Fellows. And in regard to, you not saying yes or no before,
right,
giving a longer answer, Ali defends you. And she says, writers are going to word. Chris is just being true to himself.
I'm also a civil servant, and there's a lot of that goes into that. just throwing that out there too. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, I was teasing you about that at lunch.
You're teasing me, yeah.
Which is again a good thing, because you have a measured delivery, and we could all use some thoughtful communication, right?
It eats up time.
Yes, and Jason Jose points out that Roma is sort of part of that Excalibur setup.
Totally.
Which I hope you and I do get to when it is time. I think we'll have to do the Excalibur. I believe it's called The Sword is Drawn. The Sword is Drawn is the name of that prestige format one shot.
The one that you gave me?
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, we can make it about Chris Claremont and Alan Davis. But if you want to make it about you,
no, but the sword is drawn. That's the one.
I believe that's what they call it. It's sort of like
it's great. I love it. It was great.
Me too. I think it's fantastic. But I think we'll do an episode on that coming up when it's time, which is soon. And Roma does play a role in sort of like the mission statement of that team. So I'm looking forward to that. Did I want to mention also? You got, man, in like 2 weeks, the Halton Hills Fan Fest.
And I'm on a panel actually at that one too.
Oh yeah? What are you going to be talking about? Comics?
We're talking about making comics.
That should be fun.
It should be fun. We never shy away from those kinds of things. We're always happy if people invite us, and they invited us. I know you're unable to make it, but that should be fun. It's like 20-minute drive, 30-minute drive down the west from here. So it's nice.
Very cool. And of course, in May, you and I are voyaging to beautiful
La Belle Provence.
Way. And we're going to be up on the plateau and celebrating comics at the Montreal Comic Arts Festival, or Festival Bandes in Montreal. Can't wait for that. It should be a wonderful 3-day festival in beautiful Montreal in spring. Nothing better. We're going to have a great time at that. And lots of friends are coming to share their comics too. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's out there, because it's a totally different comic creator community in Montreal and in Quebec. And we'll be able to come home with some really neat indie comics and just see what other Canadians are up to. It's a blast. Of course, in June, we've got TCAF on June 7th and 8th. Can't wait for that. It's the most beautiful comics event in Toronto. And then Word on the Street way off in September, which is the largest literary festival in the country, which again should be a total blast to be a part of. I'm very much looking forward to all that stuff. Did that. We talked about, which is excellent. I'd leave it there and then open up. What else do we need to talk about before we start reading this book? I think that's about it.
I think it's good. It's a double issue. You should probably get into it.
Yeah, man. It is a big one. I'm going to remove some of this, add some of this.
Ooh.
There we go. Yeah, I never loved this cover. This was always one I just kind of passed over. I get it. I get why it works. It just isn't the cover that I ever wanted to like redraw or spend time thinking about. But there is that neat technical part about there being that magenta surprint. So that would have been again drawn in black line on probably a different piece of paper, and then matched up. Like you line it up properly with the bodies of the X-Men.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not my favorite, but
because it isn't. I mean, it's beautifully executed. The craft is there.
Yeah,
it's not an emotional, not the image that evokes something emotionally for me that I usually am.
Maybe this speaks to what we were saying before about how this kind of, like that's nausea in the background there. Maybe because we haven't had that connection or the build up, maybe that we were hoping for a confrontation of this size. That you're right, it feels a little emotionless. Like, I mean, maybe I'd feel more about it if there was like a bit more of a, a bit more of a build up.
Yeah. There you go.
Oof.
All right, man. Let's get into this bad boy. There's a lot here.
There is a lot here.
We'll do our best to get through this.
Buckle up.
Yes. Strap in. Get a lozenge.
Get a lozenge.
The lobby. Eagle Tower. Sometimes Wolverine hates his mutant power, the ability to heal virtually any wound, because without it, he'd be dead now. Instead of screaming silently in agony as his body knits itself back together. He's been hurt before, lots of times, but rarely as badly as this. He senses deep down in his bones that can't be broken that the worst is yet to come. But if he yields to the shadows within his mind, the transitory oblivion of a healing coma, who'll lead the X-Men? They need him. He understands that. So he fights to stay awake, in control, in command, hating every moment. Okay, that's good. That was good.
That's good. I do like that sentiment, actually.
Yeah.
He just wants to, like, maybe have it end.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's in agony.
He is. Yeah.
But that just, again, is like a character piece. A really good one that shows you he's in it for someone else. He's obviously selfishly wants sweet relief.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet release. What's the expression? Sweet release.
Sweet release.
But he is through and through an X-Man. Beautiful. Hold still, shape changer, or I'll tie you up so tight you'll bleed.
I'm a federal agent, Ms. Pryor, with a lawful warrant for the X-Men's arrest. Resisting like this only makes matters worse for you all. If Mystique doesn't shut up, Madeline, gag her, okay? I will build a readout to protect Wolverine. Avec, what is happening outside? Nothing. Mystique's Freedom Force goons are just standing around. This is crazy. The world's turned upside down, become a nightmare, where we X-Men are villains. And some of our oldest enemies, the good guys. We've got 3 of ours prisoner, Psylocke, Dazzler, and Rogue. I wonder if we can trade Mystique for him, but what do we do then? That old lady there, Precog, Destiny, looks pretty upset. Wish I could hear what she's saying.
So her look has shifted from, previous encounters, like if you read Days of Future Past.
Right.
Or, let's say, Avengers Annual 10. she's now not just, or the action figure, the Marvel Legends action figure that came out last year, the 2-pack with Rogue. She's now this like old woman, unmasked, with like lots of drapery, beautifully rendered, and she is kind of like an old seer, like in folk tales and whatnot.
Totally.
She reminds me of like the Fates and such.
I was going to say, yeah, absolutely. The Fates is the kind of reference that I'm getting here.
And it is a neat version to like reinterpret this character instead of that very cold mask design that she's done in the past. So I don't mind like this kind of version of her, but man, it is interesting to look at and weirdly drawn in an evocative way. I also really like that Havoc is like he's really focused. He's dialed in. It's good to see. It's my understanding that in this moment, the X-Men can't really go further in because it's deadly, and their teammates are outside, so they don't want to go far, but they also can't go out because they're kind of outmatched and hurt. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of stuck, and then, of course, the sky is ripped open. So no one knows what the hell's going on, and everyone kind of needs a breather.
Yeah, I like seeing a focused Havoc just because he's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm rooting for him to be a good character. Like, I don't want to have characters that every time they do something I roll my eyes.
Right.
I like him battle hardened and ready to go. We just got to get rid of that weird orbital tiara. I don't know what that thing is. I keep thinking about good custom figures for him, but anyway, moving on. Gone, all gone. Inner sight is blind and useless as my eyes.
What are you talking about, woman? You're worried about Mystique.
Fool! She is nothing. We are nothing. My power, Commando, is to see the future. But for us, for the X-Men, perhaps even the world, I see none.
Heads up, guys. That speedster Super Saber just took off. Probably to cover the back door. X-Men, look out! Ceiling's collapsing.
Realization and reaction are as one. A bolt of raw energy plasma flashing from Havoc's out-thrust hands. To deal with the falling concrete slab, well...
My armored body will protect you, ladies, from any fragments.
Only the beginning, people. Wolverine! Are you nuts? If you don't give your healing factor a decent chance to do its job, you'll never recover. Risk I'll have to take, darling. Because we sure can't stay put. Not with this flaming 100-story ruin ready to drop on our heads. What about Rogue and the others? We can't just leave them. Sorry, that's you.
Is it? Are you sure it's not...
Yeah, because of the next line.
Oh, I see what you. What about Rogue and the others? We can't just leave them.
Considering the odds, Havoc, we got no choice.
Of course you have a choice, Wolverine. For once, you can be sensible. Destiny's prediction is that anyone with an Eagle Tower at dawn will die. Is that what you want? At least by surrendering, you'll be safe. Lady, that's not a choice. Lady, that's a joke. I'd sooner trust a rabid dog.
Lady.
Have you an alternative, comrade?
Excuse me, teammates. I haven't been part of your world for long. But is your Daystar sun supposed to shine in the middle of the night? Michael has a question. He said, this bothered me last week. Is Mystique wearing a black bodysuit under the white? Or is it a coloring mistake?
Oh, I see.
All right. So she has often been portrayed as having a black and or a dark blue sort of unitard. And then there's like a white kind of dress with a skirt piece in the front.
Don't forget the skulls.
And the skull belt. And maybe necklace as well. I don't really know how to interpret her costume in 3D without me being biased by the action figures. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So there is like that overlay piece of her skirt that is from the belt. But yeah, she does have either black or dark blue arms and legs. And maybe you want to look at it as if it's one costume with different stitch, like with a arm sewn onto a white bathing suit section, or if the white section is an overlay. It's up to you how you want to interpret that. I don't know. I don't think that's a coloring mistake. I think that's how she was almost always been portrayed going back. Don't you think, Chris?
Yes, I want to say yes.
Yeah. I mean,
you
I'm looking
still don't know where the skulls come from. That's the bigger question. But.
Well, I've seen comics or something where she like touches the skulls and it makes a change. I'm going to just change the screen for a second here.
Sure.
So this is last issue, right?
Yeah.
And that's a common interpretation.
Sure. Okay.
For her costume. So white gloves. But again, like, are those things pulled on over top of a black undersuit? Or is that where like the stitching is? It doesn't really matter. It's however the artist draws it and however you want to interpret that. But that's at least how I've always understood it to be.
Gotcha.
What? Let me get us out here. Solo layout. Boom. My goodness. Go tell the Spartans.
Okay.
Stanley presents Go Tell the Spartans. Chris Claremont writing, of course. Marc Silvestri and Dan Green are credited as the artists. Oliver and Ray are the colorists. So Glynis Oliver, right?
Yep.
And I don't know who Ray is in this context. Tom Orzechowski is still lettering after all these years. Ann Nesenti, editor, and Tom DeFalco is editor-in-chief. Maybe because it is a double-sized issue, it's getting an extra colorist in there.
Right.
Just to get the laboring done. Now, I want to just also note for conversation slightly that the actual coloring job, there are different parts to it. So there's the part where decisions are made, and there's the part where things get printed. And so what really happens from Glynis Oliver, what she's doing is making a color guide that then this house in Connecticut where all these old ladies worked would cut out, like, I don't even really understand it, would cut out like the plastic like acetates kind of.
Okay.
And that would then guide where the ink actually goes. But Glynis Oliver was not doing the manufacturing side. She was basically using like Doc Martin dyes or gouache paints or even markers to just create guides that are then going to be, there's like an element of the assembly line process that is done by a team, like a third party that actually does some of the technical work to create the color plates that get printed. So she's working on like photocopy sheets, like regular printer paper, and just coloring on them to indicate to the next party how this needs to be colored. Now, once in a while, you get some weird Barry Windsor Smith stuff that he did the whole thing himself, where he actually is probably the one cutting stuff out. But anyway, that's often why things get done. They cut corners because it's no longer the people who are actually involved. Does that make sense?
I mean, sure.
Anyway. All right. So there are these two reporters that have been talked about once in a while, and their names are Manoli and
Neil.
And Neil. Right.
Yeah.
Did we already pick who's who?
I don't think so. Did we?
I don't think so. So maybe since you're fair and I got a beard.
Yeah, good call. I'm clean shaven and you've got a beard.
I'll be Neil.
Okay, that works. Neil, we're skidding.
I got it. What do you expect, Manoli? Texas cars don't come equipped with snow tires, especially in midsummer. Hey, Sanagan, we know a lot about snow tires, don't you?
Let me tell you a few things about snow tires. Yeah, well, my watch says 3 a.m. So how come the downtown's lit up like noon?
What am I, the answer man?
Usually. Neil, look at the sky.
Like it really is a piece of velvet that someone's torn a hole into.
That isn't possible.
It's happening, Manol. Nobody else in sight. Not even the cops. We must be the first news crew on the scene.
Lucky us. Neil, I'm really scared.
Hey, and I'm not. Night, our side. Day, the other. Winter here, summer there. Dividing lines so sharp. You'd think there was an invisible wall.
You going across?
We're journalists, Manoli. You're the reporter, Kimosabe. Oh, sorry. That's you.
You're the reporter, Kimosabe. I'm the engineer.
This could be the story of a lifetime. I can't let it pass me by.
I know. I just hope those don't turn out to be famous last words.
I'd love to redo this scene knowing that, just maybe leaning into the Anchorman of it all.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, back at Eagle Plaza.
When Super Saber decked me with his microsonic boom, my own power must have absorbed the brunt of the shockwave and blunted its force, so I was only stunned. Better still, it charged me up as well, to near full strength. Freedom Force doesn't know I'm conscious. Nobody's looking my way. I could probably slip away easily. But if I did, what about Psylocke and Rogue? This isn't the occasion for anything fancy. Just clobber the creeps hard as I can, with my brightest dazzle flash.
My eyes!
Dazzler! I can't see. I can't see! That's better. Dynamite. They'll be seeing nothing but spots for a while. More enough time for our getaway. Heart's hammering away. I'm scared stiff. So what else is new? The trick, I guess, is the cope despite the fear.
Nasty, nasty nightingale. To steal sound and blast it back as blinding light. Past due, maybe, for you to learn what it's like to dance in shadow.
Spiral. She's crazy. Strobe effect didn't phase her. All those knives. Destiny's Oracle mask. What's she doing? By the way, I do like the idea of Super Saber Sonic Snap, which she used against Storm a while ago. But the countermeasure being that it's so powerful that she actually absorbs it.
Yeah.
Right? Like he doesn't know it's unexpected, but it's like a power, it's a counter, which that's
sure.
a nice development. Yeah. Get away!
Why complain? New face for old, prettier by far, and one that will never age. A final touch to make the spell complete. Ah! No more laser looks, songbird. No way to cast your brilliance. No way of knowing where to throw.
No!
Allison! Distinct improvement. Inhuman monster! You've murdered her! Want to brain smash me, telepath? Think again. Try harder. You'll pay for this atrocity, Spiral. Doubtful, she's far from dead, and hardly even hurt. More than can be said for you. Mask is real, blade is not. At the proper time, with the proper enchantment, both can be removed. But you, Psylocke, Psy-Witch, are far more dangerous. You read thoughts, can control people's heads. Best, then, for all concerned, you be without your own.
You want to talk about losing heads, you spotted dog?
Hmm?
You best worry most.
Rogue! Thanks very much.
About your own. Darn! She teleported.
Not far, not a long time gone, now to learn if your super strength can break my grip.
Anytime, bimbo.
Before my magic knives and spells put your supposedly invulnerable flesh to the ultimate soaring spitfires. I love that rogue punch though, the one that she
Oh yeah,
throws into the cloud of teleportation. There's just
yeah.
really good weight to it
Looks
and
good. Oh
movement.
yeah.
Yeah, and like the setup in that middle panel. You see her leaning and winding
Yeah,
up, and then it throws. It reads really well.
for sure.
So last time we were with Storm, I forget. Did she just stab that dude?
She did, and then she kind of had him in her arms.
Right. So she did not appear in 225.
I don't
She's
believe
absent from
so.
that issue.
I don't believe so.
I just flipped through before we started, so she's not in it. Like that B story space was taken up by Colossus, if that makes sense,
It was, yeah.
and a little bit of then the adversary the trickster and Roma. So there wasn't like room in the issue for Storm and Forge, but in 224 she stabs Forge at the very end, and he says like, "No, I was trying to save it." So we haven't seen her since then.
No.
Elsewhere, she is Aurora, which in her native tongue means beauty. Those are awesome panels.
They look great, and the coloring's great.
Yeah. She is called Storm. He is Forge.
When I woke up, I thought I was dreaming.
You may well be, or I am, or perhaps we are both dead, and this is paradise.
I should be dead. You stabbed for my heart. Not like you to miss. Perhaps your heart wasn't really in it.
I love you, Forge. But your old teacher, Naze, somehow he convinced me you had been turned to evil, that you meant to destroy the world. To my shame, I believed him.
Aurora, I understand.
I do not. The stars are right. This is the earth of present day. Yet the air is clean, pure. I have never smelled it as sweet. This is a world where the only fires are natural. No machines, no technology, no civilization as we know it. And I begin to suspect no people as well.
Possible. The adversary has such power.
Blessed goddess!
I hope she listens to your prayers. We're sure to need her. You can send us to another world, a parallel Earth, even create one for our prison.
But why? We were at his mercy. Why let us live? Forge!
Sorry, moved when I shouldn't have. Hurts.
Your survival is a miracle. We must not push that luck. Rest, Forge.
Anything you say, Doc. Mind staying with me.
I shall be nearby. You need only call.
No, I don't want to be alone. Stay by me, Aurora. Please.
So we just see in that last panel, I mean, the moon coming through on those clouds. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. But then like a little light of their fire within their cave on the mountain.
Yeah.
I don't get why that's there. I don't understand. Maybe it's just sort of like a transition shot. But I don't know.
Sure.
Like the silence.
Right.
Anyway, maybe that's what it is. And then we get that the official Marvel Tryout book again. Which I think I actually just want to not now, but maybe.
Yeah, you want to send it in and see what happens?
I want to send it in and see what happens. Yeah, I'd love to throw that under the camera and show our lovely viewers what is actually in there and talk about it a little bit because it's pretty neat stuff. Jason Jose says it's possibly alluding to some intimacy. Well, yeah, I mean the hand holding there. He is in pretty rough shape, but I once had like a sliver, and I still got to do what I got to do. So you know what I'm saying? I've been injured.
You're my hero.
I had a sprained toe. Still got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
I don't, because I'm just not that great.
You've never been injured like that and still got to do what you got to do?
No, I pretty much just tap right out.
Yeah, I once was suffering from some allergies. I was in someone's house that had a cat.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Not happening.
No. My eyes are too itchy. Can't.
Mm-hmm. I once just...
True story, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, when you're snotty and you're sneezing, I mean, it's just
yeah. No, it's and it was anyway. Story for another time.
Wow, this YouTube channel just got a whole different algorithm assigned to it.
Yeah. A long time ago, like what was it? Woodstock in the 90s.
99, 94.
No. 94. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Another time, another place. Dallas, where it's still night. Reality. I'm so messed up now. Where it's still night, reality remains what laughingly passes for normal. Within the day zone, however, everything's changed. The city that is suddenly coexists with the one that was and might be. From the dawn of time to its end. All the ages of man and his world jumbled crashed together in a haphazard that doesn't say agglomeration. Agglomeration.
Yeah.
Have you come across the word agglomeration before?
I have not.
I like it. It's like an amalgamation of gloms.
Of gloms.
So many gloms. That resembles nothing so much as a set of child's building blocks, tossed down randomly without rhyme or reason. Nothing makes sense. And as order, the primal fabric of reality, shreds apart, chaos takes deep root and flourishes and grows.
This is reminding me of that series when they go to New York and the wizard is... Yeah, okay.
That wizard from like Conan's time.
That's it. No, Siri, don't talk to me like that.
You did say series. I heard you say it.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah. I also want to add in, as I was reading, I was reminded of William Shatner.
Oh, yeah.
You were talking before about the Stratford Festival.
I was, yeah.
And that is where he kind of made his name in Canada well before he was cast in Star Trek. Right. He was like the darling of the Stratford Festival. Did he play Hamlet or something? Or
maybe. I mean,
how good that would be awesome to see now. Like to go back in time and see Billy Schatz.
Billy Schatz from Montreal.
Playing the ham. So if I ever get asked, like, hey, where do you want to go in time travel? That's what I'm doing.
That's the one, right? Okay.
Yeah. Eagle Plaza.
Madness. What force, what being has such power?
Whatever's happening here, Mystique, it's bigger than us. We'll have a better chance of dealing with it if the X-Men and Freedom Force work together. Truce?
Truce. Have you any ideas?
Nope. But there are a whole lot of people in this town. Right now, the best of them are probably scared stiff. They're going to need help. That, at least, we can do.
I came here to rejoin my comrades because a young woman said some things that reminded me of what it means to be Colossus and an X-Man. A choice, she said, after which nothing will be the same, and on which the fate of everything depends. Why do I feel the answer lies within this building?
Anyone there, Colossus?
Niet, Miss Pryor, only my imagination. Come, let us rejoin the others and save the world.
Hey, Colossus, where are your clothes, dude?
Niet.
I'm in the bathing suit. How can you joke? All I want to do is run away and hide.
Yet you remain. What is the point of possessing power if it is not used, and of being human if not used for good? I also am afraid, but my friends need me, and a person should always stand by those he loves.
Amen. Nearby, some sort of... Oh, wait, no, that's you.
That's me. Some sort of remote video van, Neil.
Is
everyone... Oh, afraid so. First people we've seen since we hit town. And they're dead. One shell gone. At least they tried to fight.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you do the O with that accent over top,
yeah,
isn't it more like Mignol? Like, is there another way of pronouncing that instead of saying Manol?
I mean, the accent to me suggests there's another way of saying it.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to go with Manol.
Okay.
Fight what, Manol?
Your guess is as good as mine. If the engine works, how about we blow this pop stand before finding out? Equipment's... Is that... Wait, that's it. Equipment's fascinating beyond anything I've seen. It's so simple an idiot could run it. You know, Neil, I bet I could plug this through satellites into every major radio and TV network on the globe.
Give it a try.
Do my best. Neil, look out!
Cripes! I like to look at the names of the movies and stuff. That's always,
Oh, yeah.
So at the theater, there's Attack of the Killer Pacifists.
The Killer Pacifists? Yeah.
There's also a books, mags, and movie store.
Okay.
There's a massage parlor.
Yeah.
Next to the Go-Go Girls.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, man. All right. I love that that Marc Silvestri gets to draw just like random brutes and stuff. Because again, he's such a that was just my glasses falling off my head. He's not a student formally of John Buscema.
Okay.
But he is like in the school of John Buscema's Conan.
Right.
And this just feels like a character from Conan. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Black Spiders, how are you doing? Says, I remember seeing William Shatner on a Twilight episode. Yeah, the one with the like gremlin, or what was it called? It was on the wing.
Yeah, remember in The Simpsons they did it?
Yeah, well, of course. What was the thing called that was on the
Terror wing? At 5,000 feet or something, or 35,000 feet is the episode.
Okay, but what was the thing
I
called?
think it's a gremlin. That's a... Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, it is a gremlin, because there's a gremlin on the side of the bus, and it's Hans Moleman driving the gremlin car. Right.
That just made my night. Thank you for that.
Oh, that's a great one.
Cripes. Is it dead?
He better be. I'm out of shells. Stinking muties. I had a feeling they'd be involved.
How do you know it's them?
What else could it be?
Establish your communications link, your communications uplink. I'll get us rolling. And Manoli, find some more bullets.
Okay.
Wah, wah. She's a racist. The Galleria, transformed by the Eldritch time waves into half shopping mall, half prehistoric jungle, complete with a very hungry, very annoyed Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Get up, Jim Bob. Stop fooling, boy. You gotta run now.
A very hungry, very annoyed Tyrannosaurus Rex is the rejected children's book by Eric Carle.
Right.
The very hungry, very annoyed Tyrannosaurus Rex. You never read that one. Yeah. So go ahead, Jim Bob. What was that?
Get up, Jim Bob. Stop fooling, boy. You gotta run now.
I can't, sissy. I hurt my leg. Leave me. Save yourself. Not to worry, younglings. I'll save you both. Woo! Persistent beast.
We're gonna die. We're gonna die.
Obliged to you, at least for trying to save us. Sorry, I'm reading bad. Obliged to you for at least trying, mister. Hold me tight, sissy. Don't look. It'll be over real quick.
Right you are, laddie buck. Oh, chum of little faith. Hey, do you remember the Captain Power set?
Dude.
Okay.
I think about it regularly, and I still say a line from that commercial.
Sure, yeah.
I forget what the line is.
Captain Power.
No, there was like a line where a couple of the siblings in the house were acting as if It was real, and they
Right.
called someone else a human. And I forget. I used to say this thing all the time, where someone would make a comment, and I would follow up with the line from that commercial. But now I forget what the line is because I'm just having an old man brain.
It happens.
And that's cool.
It happens.
Okay. But not the way you think. You see, all Pyro requires is the smallest flash of flame. I have absolute control over it. I can make it any size, any shape, any intensity.
Like, he cooks it.
He cooks that
right down the bone in an instant.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
It is.
It's
more of that. And then look at the swagger in his walk.
Right. It is, for a character who's just kind of like a mustache twirling villain most of the time, this is a fun.
Yeah.
Right?
It's great. That's like the best Pyro page.
Totally.
Other than the time him and Scarlet Witch go crazy at it with huge flame bird versus her gravel and like a hex beast that she makes in Avengers Annual 10. That was like the best cool one. But character page, this is great. Really good.
Totally. Sorry for the miscover. Couldn't be helped, Nice set of bones, though. Yeah, a museum here. Belts could use them. Didn't go out, my baby.
Thank you, Pyro. You saved us.
That I did. And in style too.
But how? Who are you people?
I'm part of Freedom Force, little miss. And my mate's an X-Men.
But the X-Men are muties. Does that mean we're not human beings? Or that we can't be heroes? Meanwhile, at the junction of the I-35 and the Dallas North Tollway.
There's too many, Ranger. Never hold them.
It's almost a good thing that Chuck's not here because I know he's not Dallas. He's Houston, right? Or he's around Houston.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel bad we're doing... Well, I like your voices. Anyway, that was really good. Ranger will never hold him right. We're the only force standing between them and downtown. We got to.
She ain't so lady that gutsy. She just has to be rescued. What's the matter, boys? Ain't never been hit by a sonic boom before.
You've had your fun, gents. You want to quit while you're ahead or play rough? Your choice. I love the build on the purple diaper guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that guy. He's
Who are those guys?
He's like a Hagar the Horrible.
Yeah.
Or Asterix. So that's a great last panel of Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. I actually threw it in the thumbnail for the show.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I hit it in the corner. It's his stuff is loose and energetic, and as I mentioned once before, Silvestri does a run on the Wolverine
series, yeah.
And thankfully, my local comic store and Anthony, who works there, hooked me up with the full run in the Essentials. So one day I get to sit and read, 20 issues of Wolverine.
Exactly.
Your funeral. As he slashes through a bunch of barbarians.
Zoom in on the little guy, Neil.
His name's Wolverine, Manoli, one of the X-Men.
He's a wild man. There's no difference between him and the warriors he's fighting.
Sure there is, partner. He's on our side.
Great. For as long as that lasts. Suppose someone makes him a better offer. These self-proclaimed superheroes protect humanity from supervillains. But Neil, who protects us from our heroes?
He's on the roof, so this is him. Is that a question to ask when he's bleeding instead of us?
You really believe in these X-Men, don't you, pal?
It's their world, too. They deserve as much freedom and happiness as anyone else. Why should we fear them simply because they're different from us?
That difference is their powers, and power corrupts.
Is anyone receiving our transmission, Manoli? Or are we wasting our time?
I think it's safe to say, Kimosabe, without exaggeration,
The whole world is watching.
Whoa.
Wow.
The whole world listened to you? You racist. Elsewhere, the Continental Divide, near what in our world would be the Valley of the Yellowstone, Wyoming. Forge! Your mountain of power! Destroyed!
I suspected as much, but I had to see for myself. The adversary is very thorough, very careful. Probably the same on all the Earths there are. Forgive me, little flower, but I have to be certain. See? The power of this nexus still exists, but has been tainted, twisted into a force inimical to life. Inimical?
That's what it says.
To life. That's the best part about these books, is you get to learn. Anyone who tries to draw on it ends up the same. The adversary knows I'm crippled. That most likely isn't a blessed thing I can do to him, but he isn't about to take the risk. He wants us in the game. That's why we're still alive, but on his terms, as his pawns.
Was Naze such a pawn? Was that why he betrayed you through me?
I'll lay odds the Naze I knew, my father friend, my teacher, no longer exists. Probably hasn't for quite a while. At best, he's been possessed by the adversary. At worst, he's the Chaos Lord's human avatar, a god made flesh.
And this is my question, as well as Storm's. And what does that mean?
Depends.
Forge, I'm in no mood for games. Now, I'm just to note here, you know, they have different clothes kind of than before. Storm's hair has gotten much, much longer. Forge's hair has gotten longer. I'm to interpret from this that time has passed. He's also healed.
Yes, he is.
So we maybe, you know, moments pass in our world, in the X-Men's world, but a greater amount of time has passed in the Nexus, where Storm and Forge are currently, shall we say, trapped.
Trapped. Yeah. That's just the point. To the adversary, all this is no more than a game, the greatest ever played. That's why he loves chaos, upsets the rules, makes the game more challenging. The victory, I suppose, more sweet.
And what of those sacrificed along the way?
Does a child care about his toys?
That is obscene.
Perhaps, but there's no denying his power. For all your strength, Storm, of will, of purpose, even of faith, he got to you. He made you do his bidding. Tricks, lies, deception, they're meat and drink to him. The more noble his foe, the more fiercely eager he is to tear them down. That's behind us now. It doesn't matter anymore. We're out of here. Out of it here. Whatever happens on that other Earth, we're safe. We're together. We can begin again.
That other Earth is home.
Home is where your heart is. Mine's with you. Where's yours?
I cannot say. You talk so sweetly, but so did Naze, and with much the same words. You ask for a trust I will not give. I have paths yet to walk, Forge, answers to find, about this world, about myself. It is a quest I must undertake, alone.
I understand. More than you know, Wind Rider. This sanctuary is a trap, but you have to discover that for yourself. And when, if you do, our adversary may well discover that his precious pawns have transformed themselves into queens.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Did he just come out?
Well, I mean, just most powerful on the chessboard.
Ah. Dallas. Eagle Plaza. Here are my thoughts. You are among friends. There is no more need to be afraid.
Avalanche, follow me with those supplies. More people coming in, Mystique. Where are we going to put them all? We'll manage, Rogue. You were saying, ma'am? Basic. Oh, that's yeah,
It's okay.
You were saying is that him? That's him.
Yeah, it's him. But don't worry.
All right. Basically, we are attempting to ensure the safety of those citizens unaffected by the time waves. Afterwards, if possible, we'll try to determine who or what is responsible and put things right.
And this is her.
Yeah. You're very confident. I prefer realistic. How is it you're working with the X-Men, considering that one of Freedom Force's primary missions is to take those outlaw mutants in federal custody? Hey, listen, lady, if the X-Men were the crooks everyone likes to figure us for, we wouldn't even be here. Anybody with sense would have skipped town at the first sign of trouble. But we've been good guys, what you media types dubbed superheroes, from day one. Risking our necks is a habit, and saving the world our specialty. We've done both too often to count and paid the price. The only difference is that this time, your camera lets folks watch it on TV. Well, I hope to blazes they enjoy the show. I couldn't have put things better myself. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have work to do.
Way to go, X-Men. That's telling the world.
Whoa. Nintendo. We talked about this last week. Like which games?
Man.
Pretty cool.
Meanwhile, across the crowded plaza. Be brave, Dazzler. Spiral's spells will soon have you free. Most assuredly, Psy Witch. What was simply done can easily be undone? What's wrong? I don't know. Growing air of chaos about this accursed place, perhaps. Twisting my magic dance to keep it from...
Why do I not believe you, Spiral?
Truth! I tried.
Try harder.
This is not my fault. Colossus, let her go. I can sense in the tangled labyrinth of her thoughts that she's telling the truth. She's as startled and alarmed as we.
Small comfort. However, threaten X-Men again, Spiral, and you will answer to me. Yeah. And we will... Yeah, he's like, I will kill every single last one of you. And we will discover whether magic is a match for my armored form.
Someday, stripling, we must put that to the test.
Perhaps so, and far sooner than either of us suspects.
I like, with him, with that thing about being made of metal and therefore maybe something that stops magic.
Yeah.
Like often iron, or steel is like...
Yeah, and maybe because his sister's sibling has powers,
sure,
in that nature, to have like a countermeasure power in the same family is kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah. Yep. I'm down. I love those Colossus fingers that he draws.
Yeah, look good.
Elsewhere, for like the fourth time or fifth
Elsewhere.
time, the Africa of this other Earth. On the great eastern plain where many on our world theorize human life began. By the way, see those giraffe there?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Like I got to see that in real life.
Weren't you riding one only a week ago?
Not only was I riding one, I actually made best friends with like 2 or 3, and they now live in my backyard.
Oh, perfect.
But getting I was super up close. So up close that we had to turn the car engine off so that they walked past our van, and I could hear their tail swaying back and forth across their back, their hips. It was that close. It was every little move they made was very audible. It was incredible. Anyway, cool. Yeah, my son took amazing video of that too. It was very cool.
Cool.
This was my home. The home of my ancestors from the dawn of memory. It was here I was drawn when my mutant powers first manifested themselves. Here I set aside my humanity and took on the mantle of a goddess. That special resonance The joy I felt whenever my feet trod this ground never left my soul. Until now, I feel nothing. Is the fault mine or something else? Great Mother, bright Lady of the earth and air, hear thy daughter's call. Different time, pulled from the vault of memory, a young and innocent Aurora crying out with all her heart, unsure of what, if anything, will answer, awed by what does. But here, now, the adult beholds nothing. This world has no soul. All the elements are in place, but they are form without full substance, as if the world itself has yet to be truly born. It lacks consecration, a gift of spirit to bring it life. Is that why Forge and I are here, to provide it? Is that the reason there is no bright lady to hear my prayers? Because in this place, I am meant to be she? Good question, Storm.
Let's find out.
Meanwhile, back in Dallas...
Hurry it up, people. Quicker re-roll, quicker you'll reach the sanctuary. We're establishing downtown where you'll be safe.
Who you kidding, Pilgrim? That was a city out there when I went to bed. Now it's an open prairie. You ask me, ain't nowhere safe no more.
Is that the same guy or different guy?
A different guy, but I'm happy to yell it.
Sure.
Look, everyone! On that ridge! Indians! Stonewall recognizes them as Cheyenne and wonders aloud what they're doing so far south of their Wyoming home. It's clearly a war party, yet they make no move to attack. And when their chief rides forward alone for a palaver? I don't know what a palaver is. New word for me. Like a parlay, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
If it was a parlay, it almost seems similar word in some way. Anyway, the Crimson Commando decides to meet him. Oh boy. I'm gonna just put a note in here.
Sure.
This feels like what Chris Claremont thinks an old movie First Nations chief would be like.
Yes.
As portrayed probably by someone European.
Sure.
In makeup.
Yes.
And it is something. You know, this one of those moments in X-Men comics where is super dated.
Yes.
That okay says the next issue is a double-sized issue, and this issue feels as packed as a double issue. It is, dude. Like this is this is a double-sized issue as well. So it's a lot they're trying to get in, which may be why they brought in that second colorist. And palaver, like from Pirate of the Caribbeans. I thought the word they were using in Pirates was parlay.
But maybe
yeah. But it is obviously the same kind of thing where two leaders go out and speak to each other. So I'm going to read this in the spirit in which I think it was intended, which I don't think holds up today. Okay. Is that okay with you, Chris? Or
yeah.
Okay. I speak your tongue, White Eye. We come in peace to offer our help against that which threatens us all. This twisting of what is and what should be is the work of the most ancient adversary of the human beings. Our world is composed of a set store of life energy. The adversary's ambition is to burn that fuel to nothing in an instant, to consume the world, all its people, all their works, utterly, and cast it forever into the dark chaos that is his dwelling place.
That sounds crazy, but I believe you. Can he be stopped?
There is a way. Our medicine chief, the maker of things, Our forge that reshapes the spirit into reality has spent a lifetime preparing for this battle. The magic must be made atop that high place of power.
Eagle Tower. The man who lives there, who built the place, he's called Forge. He's Cheyenne too, and a mutant. That can't be coincidence.
Blame fool, that Fed trusting. Minute you turn your back, no matter what they say, they'll lift your scalp. Unless you take your there first.
I know not of whom you...
No! Who fired? What are you doing? For the love of heaven, stop shooting!
As easily try to stop a hurricane by shouting at it. As this mob, so desperately in need of any excuse, any target, on which to vent their fear.
Way to go, boys! That showed them. No matter what happens, at least we got our licks in.
He came to us in friendship, Stoney, offering help against a common foe. Didn't matter that our two peoples were age-old enemies.
I mean, age-old enemies, that's, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
To him, we were all human beings, but we killed him anyway. You ever wonder sometimes whether we even deserve to be saved?
So, when this... good question. When this scene started, I totally thought they were, like, part of that time warping thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way they're portrayed is like how...
In 1988...
Sure.
Yeah.
And for all the years in Claremont's formative years and Silvestri's formative years, it looks like that. But now I'm to understand that these are contemporary members of the Cheyenne Nation who have ridden down to Texas from Wyoming for this occasion.
In their ceremonial garb from 100 years ago. But they say their forge.
Right.
So it feels like they're from a different plane of existence.
Yeah, maybe. I guess I'm open to interpretation now. Like,
sure,
I like the idea that the word forge somehow means more than just the name of that one guy. That it's like a role.
Okay.
I don't know how well that works, but I like the idea of it. If you choose a word like a maker or whatever it might be, I'm into it. Yeah, the weird scene, and they all just get killed. Like,
yeah.
A little heavy-handed, but
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, I'm gonna move on.
All right.
Just it's a lot.
It is.
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere again.
Take a drink, everybody. By the stars! I know Forge is an artificer. His mutant talent is the ability to craft any tool or device he desires. But this is almost beyond belief. To leap from the Stone Age to solar power technology in a year!
Welcome. Any trouble finding the place?
None. You left clear sign.
Well, you look well, Aurora.
And you, Forge. I missed you.
Likewise. So is that...
I think it's Forge.
Yeah. So you find those answers you're looking for?
I believe so. In some ways, I wish I had not. Your adversary is the cruelest of jesters. And this is the richest of prisons.
That's his nature, to offer what you most desire and make you pay accordingly.
And what is our nature, Forge?
That, sweetheart, is what we're here to decide.
Dallas.
Make every shot count, y'all. Ammo won't last forever. And when it runs out, what then? We're a handful of super beans. How do we hold off the end of the world?
Pretty nasty cut, Spiral. Survived worse. I'll bet you have. She loves fighting as much as Wolverine. She's about as ferocious too. But this battle's wearing even her down. Yo, Neil. Any word from outside? Nothing good, I'm afraid. There seems to be some big fracas in New York involving X Factor. The other supergroups, the Avengers and Fantastic Four, are being kept in reserve until it's determined which is the paramount threat. See the current issue, X Factor 26. Thanks, Ann. So we're on our own, as usual.
The devil of it is we still don't know what we're dealing with, much less how to stop it.
Maybe we're the ancient Spartans, Mystique, holding the line at Thermopylae against impossible odds. Buying our fellow Greeks time to raise proper defenses and mass their armies. Here we remain, obedient to their will, even unto death.
Since when did you become a romantic?
Darling, how can anyone be an X-Men and not be a romantic?
Huh?
I think he's putting the moves on Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny.
Do you think that's Peter who says that?
I don't know. It says it's in quotation.
Yeah, it just says it. I mean, I don't know where, but it's funny. You're wasting your time, Colossus. She's so deep in shock, poor woman. She isn't aware of anything. Colossus, how can you be here? None of the timelines leading to this place had you in them. Your presence, it is a temporal fluke. Something beyond the bounds of probability.
What do you see, Destiny? What does the future hold?
Death. The ultimate void, oblivion, unending chaos, the end of all. And yet, a glimmer, the faintest of possibilities, so small I never perceived it until now. Within the eagle's eyrie, the merest chance for life, for freedom force, the world, humanity. But none for you. Oh, Colossus, my dear boy, I see nothing for the X-Men. Whatever happens, your fate is sealed.
It's Madeline, I think.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You are the Madeline. Salvation, if it exists, lies within.
She said you're going to die.
Does not everyone. A fair exchange, I think, if others live.
But even as the words are spoken, the sky overhead tears wider still, with a sound like the dawn of creation, or perhaps it's sunset.
Ooh.
In a twinkling, more of the city is washed by this awful, eldritch daylight. And again, time twists inside out. Reality loses more meaning. The changes, the manic, irrational juxtapositions, more extreme, coming faster and faster. Before I continue, eldritch. What is this meaning to you? What is this word? How is it being used here?
I don't know. I encounter it often in Dungeons and Dragons.
And what does it mean there?
Eldritch blast. I don't know. It's some kind of weapon, but I don't know what eldritch means. But I could look it up. What does it mean to you?
I think I come across it when I'm reading Hellboy stuff too.
Okay, here we go. Eldritch. Hold on. Strange or unnatural, especially in a way that inspires fear. Weird, eerie.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Dad OK says it means magic.
Okay.
Jason Jose says
Mystic energy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It feels like a very specific word to choose, like not just evoking magic,
Right.
but evoking a particular brand of magic.
Right.
Obviously, it feels very British.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of almost like elvish.
Yeah, well, it has that rhythm to the word.
Kind of cadence to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and use it in a sentence tomorrow.
Cool. See how it goes. Let me know. Let me know how it goes.
While in the eye of this tempest, Colossus, I caught a flash of your thoughts.
I have not the time to explain, Psylocke. Not the words.
Let me scan your thoughts and memories and transmit them to Wolverine and Mystique. This may well be a time for heroics, Pyotr Nikolaevich, but not stupid ones.
Agreed.
Her mind touch is gentle, yet it's backed by a strength that, in some ways, rivals his own. Images scattershot across his awareness. The most terrible of battles against the most fearsome foes, and dominating every scene, the haunted dual-featured face of the woman who sent him here. Roma!
You know her?
She's the guardian of the Omniverse, supreme caretaker and arbiter of reality.
Well, reality for us has clearly gone mad if Roma is its caretaker. Then she is either the cause or another victim.
Colossus, she is a goddess. So what if she contacted you? How do we reach her?
Ever since I arrived here, I have been drawn to Forge's Eyrie. Perhaps that is where our answers are to be found.
Boy, makes sense. Rogue, reconnoiter Forge's penthouse.
Spiral, get there first. Dawn, Mystique may be my foster mom. That doesn't mean she cuts me any slack. Whoa, on the other hand, maybe it ain't such a bad thing. Arriving in second place. Spiral's coming down like a runaway rocket. I hate her guts. She don't deserve me being so nice. Probably let me splatter without a qualm, but I can't. Too much velocity, too little altitude. Can't stop, barely slows down, but will that, plus my partial invulnerability, be enough to survive the imp?
You okay, Rogue?
No worse than when I started. You can even say the same for Spiral.
Too bad. Would it be a better place without him?
Who asked you, fella? Never figured I'd owe my life to you, Blobbo.
You risked your scrawny neck for one of my pals. I gotta do the same for you, eh?
I won't hear an argument from me. It appears we're on the right track, since someone clearly does not wish us in Forge's penthouse.
So we go up the hard way, up the stairs.
Forget that, Wolvie. Half the lobby's been transformed into this jungle, including the stairs and elevators. Then we make our own way, by blasting our way through each floor.
Maybe, Mystique. Maybe not. I don't think this particular time shift is an accident.
What do you mean, Tovarish? What is this place?
Vietnam. Elsewhere. Take a shot.
Take a shot.
All this, and a superb cook as well. Is there no end to your talents?
Telling you is too easy. Wouldn't it be far more fun finding out for yourself? What did he say there?
Aha! Aha! It's actually her that's supposed to be laughing.
Right.
From his reaction, it's clearly, it's supposed to be her laugh. She's like, ha ha!
That's the spirit. Have you the slightest idea how good it is to hear you laugh?
I am learning. So tell me, Maker. This is so corny and horny.
It is both things.
Where do we go from here?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? With everything riding on the answer. Would anyone blame us for following our hearts? Our love could consecrate this world. Give it a soul.
I think that's still Forge.
And what a soul that would be.
A little tainted, twisted Forge, forlorn and forsworn, forever scarred by the memory of what was sacrificed to give it birth. We are doomed either way. If we stay, as the adversary wishes, our world dies. If we return, this perishes stillborn. Black Spider says the color looks off a bit. Yeah, I think they're going for a nighttime, moonlit kind of thing where like everything would be in that kind of blue light that's outside.
Yeah.
So it's Storm kind of like, Forge walks out from the yellow and then into the moonlight. I don't know if it works well. I think that's what they're going for, but I don't think it really worked in every panel. Like that last one, especially where her hair is that dark blue. It doesn't really work as effectively. But I'm glad they're going for something. But then you look at the last panel on this 2-page spread, and that's friggin' gorgeous.
Yeah,
like the one with the tower in it.
Totally.
Hey,
yeah,
a tower.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Another one.
Who is this talking, do you think?
I think it's probably Forge.
All right.
The adversary creates as well as destroys. The old way winds down, and out of the primal transitional chaos, our new one begins. He respects our power and potential as much as he fears it, and he's the ultimate gamester as well. That's why he didn't kill us when he had the chance.
Better he. You think it's still Forge?
No, sure.
I'll read. It's fine.
Okay.
Better he feels to offer us the chance.
Oh, no, it is Forge.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Forgy.
Better he feels to offer us the chance to be the agents of this great change. We can be both world spirits and the parents of a new, possibly better humanity.
Is this Forge who speaks, or the adversary through him? Do I believe words or heart, when both have lied? And the alternative?
We go back, assuming we're brave and inventive and maybe foolish enough. But if we do, all bets are off. We become part of that Earth's fate. It dies, we die. No new beginning, no second chance. For us, or the world, or humanity. Finito, sweetheart. Of course, you might always win, but I wouldn't bet those odds.
You speak as though we have a way home.
What do you think you've been working towards while you've been roaming the globe? I'm the maker, Aurora, but you're the life force that gives me purpose, that enables me to best use the tools I build. By ourselves, we're crippled together. The possibilities are infinite.
Smooth and silver-tongued devil, show me.
Up there, atop my new Irie.
Meanwhile, in Dallas.
So this is what my boy was trying to write about in his letters. Even at night, godforsaken place as hot as a steam bath.
What do you mean, not an accident?
Forge lost his hand and leg in the Nam. The way I hear tell, it's where he renounced his magic.
Comrades, beware.
Sniper!
Hit the deck.
Viet Cong!
Stinking mask, can't see. Have to aim my laser shot by the sound of gunfire. Hope for the best. Wish Spiral, not her stinking soul, was the target.
Miss, lady. Lucky for you, I won't. Fair shooting. Did the job. Don't much like Charlie here. Don't like you muties either. His eyes, his scent. This good old boy isn't what he seems. But then, round this madhouse, what is? Trooper wasn't alone. Lots more Kong sense. Lots more Kong. Scents are heavy. They're close by. Americans, too. Probably the royal firefight before long. Wouldn't do to be caught in the middle. Wolverine, I've spotted Roma's thought traces. She's present in this reality mode, and I believe I can pinpoint her position.
Now ain't that convenient? And about as obvious an invite to a trap as I've ever heard.
You can't mean to accept.
We got an option. If Roma's the key and she's here, we gotta go. Y'all claim to be heroes? Don't that make it your job?
You don't belong here, human.
This is my world, Muty. It's your kind that don't belong.
My kind, mutant kind, intends to save this world, including, regrettably, those who don't deserve it. Someone remove this cretinous oaf before I forget which side I'm on. You heard the lady, chump. Freedom Force will accompany...
Nope.
Wolverine.
Think, woman. If this is a trap, no sense in all of us being caught. Moreover, somebody's got to stay behind to protect the civilians. Your feds, Mystique. That gives you a credibility my outfit can't match. The X-Men were outlaws, expendable. Nobody'll care if we toss our lives away. More than a few will probably breathe a sigh of relief, and some will cheer.
Wolverine, destiny sees nothing but death for you.
Yep, ours alone. Or ours and the world's. If we gotta go either way, might as well make it mean something.
Sir, I'd like to shake your hand. Oh, Manoli is crying.
Manoli.
Oh, Manol.
This mighty heart is breaking.
Jason Jose says, and thus the Mohawk era end for Storm and the punked out leather look.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No more Mohawk.
It was a great 2-year run.
Oh, I think it was more than 2. I mean, obviously in X-Men comics terms, it was way longer than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Since like in 185, she was lost her power. That's like, a long time. Elsewhere, go ahead.
My neutralizer didn't so much remove your power a month ago as erase the RNA genetic codes that enabled you to access them. Your powers are still yours. You simply lack the ability to consciously manipulate them. Although occasionally there might be reactions to extremes of emotional subconscious prompting.
You mean there is hope for me to once more command the elements, forged to fly?
If my researches and calculations and deductions are correct, if I've built right, if you want it badly enough.
You cannot imagine how badly.
All well and good to think of what you have to gain, Wind Rider, but also consider the cost, because it's sure to be commensurate.
Tell me.
Dallas. Same deal here as when we came to Dallas. This is a volunteer caper, pure and simple. Anyone can back out, no guilt, no shame.
Time's wasting.
He says first.
Oh, I speak for the team, boss. Time's wasting.
I'm obliged, kid. You got no brains, but the heart of a grizzly. But you, Dazzler, and Miss Pryor.
You just try and stop me, mister. You just try. I'm an X-Men Wolverine, and I'm with you to the end.
And I'll be her eyes.
You two are crazy.
Hey, sugar. They're just taking after you. Wish us luck, y'all. Love, Destiny, Mystique. Rogue. Daughter. Be seeing you, Mom.
We may be back. We may not. Whichever. Remember us.
We will, X-Men. Always. Manol.
No. That's a great last panel, though.
Yeah. It reads good. Elsewhere.
The solar energy power system was easy. This, though, required more than half the circuitry in my bionic leg. It's literally a one-shot deal. And if it's a botch, I doubt even an old testament lifetime will be enough for me to regenerate sufficient technology for another try. Moreover, a failure could kill, or worse, once we start, Storm, there's no turning back.
We started, I think, the moment we met.
I don't want to do this. I love you, Aurora. I want to carry you back to the house and take you to bed. I want us to have the happiness we've both earned, the future and family we deserve.
No less than I, my brave. But then, you would not be worthy of the adversary's respect, nor I of your heart. We are bound, Forge, by what we are.
Doesn't mean a body can't hope and dream and rage at the unfair, uncaring fates.
What must I do?
Just hold that pose.
Pew, 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 pew.
Zap, 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 zap. They're your powers, Storm. Call them home.
I like that idea that she gets to, like, call him. That's cool.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Nothing. We have failed.
Genetic codes have been reestablished, the potential restored, but you still have to actualize it. If you want your powers badly enough, more than your life, they'll come.
But if I become as I was before, the unreachable, untouchable goddess,
Then you'll have learned nothing from these past months, and that would truly be a tragedy. Everything has its price, Aurora.
it is too high.
Kiss, kiss, kiss. Boom, 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 boom. Rumble.
He unlocks it with her
Mm-hmm.
by kissing.
Yeah,
So,
it's like Sleeping Beauty.
Forge, the lightning has returned. Krakow. Bright, blessed goddess, I can fly. I can once more fly.
The adversary and our final battle await, Wind Rider. Hurl your bolts as I told you. Open the gateway I constructed and send us home. Skadoosh!
Scaraboom. Dallas. Where'd this wind come from?
That's Speedster, yeah. Where'd this wind come from?
Oh,
Oh, no, it's Pyro.
or it's not. It could just be the crowd. But
Who cares, Pyro? No, it just says, who cares? Where'd this wind come from? Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, right.
who cares, Pyro? I'm picking up strength every second. It's fine. We have to evacuate the area before it tears Forge's skyscraper apart.
What's happening?
Well. The wonders never cease. I always suspected Forge and Storm were the worthiest of foes. How splendid then to prove it. I accept your challenge, warriors. With open arms, I welcome you back from exile. Such a pity you are as doomed to defeat as this building, your world, your race are to ultimate destruction.
Time to go. But if I do, I'll never know what happened. This place is crazy. I hate crazy.
No, Bob, no, let me go.
Not a chance. You the boss, Misty. Ain't no way I'm leaving you behind.
Neil, that reporter, the X-Men, they're still inside.
Especially with that commando creep hot to take your place. Tough. They knew the risks. Besides, ain't no time to go back. Whole blamed building's coming down. Skaboom!
Skadoosh.
The belly of the beast.
Wow.
That okay says, does Storm lose her powers 3 times within this 2-year period from the 220s to 272? Reveal to the audience. We don't know. I mean, I did read these comics when I was a kid, so I kind of do know.
You know what the last line should have been in this book?
What's that?
Lightning, and then it just said Omega level mutant detected.
I mean that's
Omega level mutant
modern.
detected.
That was one of the best moments.
It was a great line.
I mean, that really was a great moment in the show.
It was.
And forever, like, you just want to hear that whenever she arrives. Kind of fun thinking, like, it's been how long? Like I said, around issue 185 since she lost her powers. About that. So we're really talking, 30, 40 issues. 40 issues, really.
Yeah, wow.
That's a long time. That's over 3 years in comics.
Jeez.
So a long journey for her, and in the cartoon it's like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, because then again, I still don't know if this is like, if it's earned.
Right.
No, I'm a really big fan of in stories where characters get things. I like when they have to give things or risk something. So I do kind of like some of the terms of this, like, if, let's say, the adversary, the trickster, knows that Storm and Forge are players in the game.
Right.
If he wants them off the board, he tempts them off. He's like, he can just murder anyone, right?
Yeah.
But he wants to. He's doing that same bet that the Joker did, in a way, at the end of the Dark Knight, where it's like, I'm betting against humanity. I think your worst selves are going to show up here.
Yeah.
So you're going to kill each other. So he's saying that, okay, I'm going to put you guys in this paradise world where you get to start everything the way you want. And you get to have that. And if you do, then I'm going to win this thing. Yeah. But if you're willing to throw away that possibility and come back, then you're putting yourself back into the
going to bed.
Yeah. So I like that idea of, like, him wanting to see humanity destroy themselves.
Yeah.
And then characters choosing, I'm going to risk my life anyway. That kind of stuff. I'm into that. That's cool. We just, again, still like a big mess of. I just always have to remind myself, this is monthly American comics in the 80s, and they're churning this stuff out, and there isn't the master plan. There is. But it's fun. Michael says, "Way to go, guys! What a marathon issue! That was a big one for sure. It was.
Thank you."
Black Spider says, "My younger sister wrote on some of my comics because of the puzzles. I told her this is not Archie books." Yeah, I mean, sisters, man. What are you gonna do?
Sister?
Yeah, you were that sister. You probably ruined your siblings' stuff, didn't you?
As much as I could, yeah.
Yeah, good man.
Still do to this day.
So next issue, of course, is 227. It is the ending of, I think, Fall of the Mutants, the final chapter, double-sized, 227. Have you read it yet? Did you read ahead? I know you don't usually.
I don't know. I have not. No. I'm going to be surprised by what happens.
Yeah, we will see what happens. There will be Wolverines. There will be Storm. There will be all those things. Two double-sized issues in a row. And Claremont, with double the page count, he still also writes a ton on these pages. So we'll be taking our time getting through this next week. Yeah, it's a lot. Let's see, what else? I know what I wanted to talk about. What is there, Chris?
Oh, you should. There was a certain game tonight, and Allie's made certain reference.
Wow, it's all good. All good. Let's talk about this.
Oh, okay.
New comic. Woo woo. We don't
New comic.
That. Yeah, I finally got to see copies of.
We did that.
Peregrine's Badlands.
Cool.
Speaking of characters we love fighting dinosaurs and barbarians, and that's full of this kind of stuff too. Yeah, this came out last or 2 weeks ago at Toronto Comic-Con, and I finally got some copies today when I got to see you. So I'm super happy to. I'm just going to read this for a while instead.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, just need to see some comics and to get another book out. Of course, you can get this one at our website, group of 7comics.ca.
That's
And
right.
I love new comics. This is the 4th adventure of this style that you and I have created, where we made a comic quick. We said let's see if we can do those comics in a short period of time, and we kind of spontaneously went through about a month of furious making. This one took a lot longer because there's a huge break in between. I was on a really good pace for a while, but then my family decided to go to Florida, and I could not keep up. I couldn't travel and make it, and then once I fell out, I fell out for
That was it.
11 months. Also, this is one where there was so much world building in it and so many characters to draw. I wasn't able to do the 15 minutes a day for each panel and post every day. It took me way more time to kind of render some of these drawings, which is a lot of fun to world build with you and come up with a whole narrative to North American exploration. That is really fun to play with and will pay dividends for a long time for you and I think.
I think so.
We planted a lot of seeds in this book.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure to play with it. Like there's so much to talk about. But anyway, available now, very, very limited quantities, sort of artisanal comics almost in a way. So it's kind of fun to have that out there. I'm really happy to be able to read it and
book 15. 15th book.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
pretty wild. Black Spider says X-Men 227 is my first X book. Whoa! I found it on the street. In the street with Amazing Spider-Man 299, which is second appearance, a second Todd McFarlane issue. New Mutants, and I was hooked after that. Yeah, I was even thinking like this would be one of those great times for like another episode, a supplementary episode, just showing what was out that month and just putting the ones that I happen to have in my boxes. But I don't have time for that. You know why I don't have time for it? Because A, I'm making comics, but B, I'm having a gallery show on the weekend.
Tell us about that.
What is it? March 29th and 30th? Is that or 30th and 31st?
Okay, yeah. No, 31st is a Monday, so 29th.
Okay, 29th and 30th at the Richmond Hill or the Mill Pond Gallery up in Richmond Hill, Ontario, where I live, just north of Toronto. I'm having somewhere between 10 and 15 pieces of original art from Group of 7 Comics.
Cool.
On display at this little gallery.
Which ones did you choose?
Still choosing. I have enough. Like, I want,
for sure.
Some stuff that is familiar, of course, to you, Mr. Sanagan. But I figure I wanted to show a little bit of process and a little bit of something interesting. But there'll be 3 artists with work on display this weekend. Mine being one of the 3 and the only one of it that kind. Like I'm probably the only one not doing landscapes,
right?
And flowers and whatnot, and beautiful paintings. So I have a lot to learn from other people, and I'm happy to show another version of putting artistic talent to use. So I'm gonna have a good time hanging out in an art gallery all weekend and showing some work and maybe doing some demos. But that's why I don't have time to film another episode this week. Too much going on. Got to get all ready. Got to hang all these pieces of art.
Got to get ready for some wine, some cheese, some art.
I like to dip my cheese in the wine.
Oh, well, that's the way to go. That's how you know you're talking to the artist.
Yeah, that's right. Allie says, I hope it goes well. Thank you. I'm sure it will. It's low stakes. I'm a big fan of when there's something that I don't know how to do or makes me uncomfortable in the arts world. I like to try and go toward it and broaden my experiences. So there's really low stakes. Nothing wrong can really happen. I got a thick enough skin I can handle whatever, so that should be fun. But yeah, it's a new experience for me. Thanks, Michael. Michael says congratulations.
Are there art pieces up for sale?
Yes.
Ooh.
But so let me rephrase. I'm answering a different question. I was answering the question, am I allowed to sell artwork? That's what I was answering.
Sure.
Yes, I'm allowed to sell artwork. Are there art pieces I'm putting up for sale? Maybe a couple. Okay. But I have yet to sell interior art from any of our issues.
Yeah, I know.
And not because they haven't been asked for, but because they're not. I'm not selling them. But sometimes there are those extra pieces that are like banner art or promotional art or whatever that I'm willing to negotiate or at least in entertain the idea. So there will be a few pieces that I will entertain the idea of selling, but I do not know if anyone will even care. So,
well, I'm rooting for you.
Allie, touche. Yeah. There you go. Is that it? It's been 2 hours, right?
It's been 2 hours. I just want to say quickly, thank you, new subscriber Patrick Sargent, for subscribing to the channel.
Yes, thank you, Patrick.
That's what I want to say.
Enjoy. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men. Thank you to my good buddy, writer of Group of 7 Comics and Peregrine's Badlands, Chris Sanagan. You can find out more about our comics at our website, of course, and our upcoming appearances, of which there are many coming in this next 2 seasons, at group7comics.ca. And you can follow us at Group of 7 Comics on social media. Please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with anyone who you think would be interested in such content. And share your take on this issue. Throw a comment in the comments section below. We'd love to hear if this is an issue you like, if you like those order versus chaos narratives, or if this is not your cup of tea, or if you just want to talk Leafs versus Flyers, whatever you want, it's fine. Whatever. It's all good. All good. Regular season doesn't mean anything. We all agree. It's fine.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And everyone out there, stay Xy, bubs. And we'll see you next time on Previously in X-Men. Boom.
Goes the dynamite.